and it represented a stark turnabout for Mr. Trump, who billed himself during the campaign as an ally of gay, lesbian, bisexual and transgender people. The president, Ms. Sanders said, had concluded that allowing transgender people to serve openly erodes military readiness and unit cohesion, and made the decision based on that. Mr. Mattis, who was on vacation, was silent on the new policy. People close to the defense secretary said he was appalled that Mr. Trump chose to unveil his decision in tweets, in part because of the message they sent to transgender active duty service members, including those deployed overseas, that they were suddenly no longer welcome. The policy would affect only a small portion of the approximately 1.3 million active duty members of the military. Some 2,000 to 11,000 active duty troops are transgender, according to a 2016 RAND Corporation study commissioned by the Pentagon, though estimates of the number of transgender service members have varied widely and are sometimes as high as 15,000. The study found that allowing transgender people to serve openly in the military would have minimal impact on readiness and healthcare costs for the Pentagon. It estimated that healthcare costs would rise $2.4 million to $8.4 million a year, representing an infinitesimal 0.04 to 0.13% increase in spending. Citing research into other countries that allow transgender people to serve, the study projected little or no impact on unit cohesion, operational effectiveness or readiness in the United States. Lieutenant Commander Blake Dremin, a Navy Supply Corps officer who is transgender, said he found out his job was in danger when he turned on CNN on Wednesday morning. Commander Dremin came out as transgender to his commanders in 2015 and said they had been supportive of him. President Trump abruptly announced a ban on transgender people serving in the military on Wednesday, blindsiding his defense secretary and Republican congressional leaders with a snap decision that reversed a year-old policy reviled by social conservatives. Mr. Trump made the declaration on Twitter, saying that American forces could not afford the tremendous medical costs and disruption of transgender service members. He said he had consulted generals and military experts, but Jim Mattis, the defense secretary, was given only a day's notice about the decision. Mr. Trump elected to announce the ban in order to resolve a quietly brewing fight on Capitol Hill over whether taxpayer money should pay for gender transition and hormone therapy for transgender service members. The dispute had threatened to kill a $790 billion defense and security spending package scheduled for a vote this week. But rather than addressing that narrow issue, Mr. Trump opted to upend the entire policy on transgender service members. His decision was announced with such haste that the White House could not answer basic inquiries about how it would be carried out, including what would happen to openly transgender people on active duty. Of 8 defense officials interviewed, none could say. Continue reading the main story. The Trump White House, the historic moments, head-spinning developments and inside the White House intrigue. Former Obama aides lead opposition to healthcare repeal. Jail 27 woman in charge at Border Patrol hopes to see more in ranks. Jail 27 Scaramucci calls for inquiry after leak of financial formed. Jail 27 furious gay rights advocates see Trump's true colors. Jail 26 top GOP tax negotiators move closer to a unified plan. Jail 26 see more. That's something that the Department of Defense and the White House will have to work together as implementation takes place, and is done so lawfully, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the White House press secretary, said. Still, the announcement pleased elements of Mr. Trump's base who have been dismayed to see the president break so bitterly in recent days with Attorney General Jeff Sessions, a hardline conservative. Civil rights and transgender advocacy groups denounced the policy, with some vowing to challenge it in court. Pentagon officials expressed dismay that the president's tweets could open them to lawsuits. The ban would reverse the gradual transformation of the military under President Barack Obama, whose administration announced last year that transgender people could serve openly in the military. Mr. Obama's defense secretary, Ashton B. Carter, also opened all combat roles to women and appointed the first openly gay Army secretary.